It all depends. If it rains in the next month, it's going to be a pretty decent one. And if it doesn't rain in the next month, you guys all should have bought your beans today. I'm Mike Langseth. I farm just about 1,000 hectares of corn and soybeans in the southeast corner of North Dakota. It's the warmest and also the wettest part of the state. So we usually have a little bit better looking crop than most of the state and a little bit longer growing season. Wasn't necessarily quite the case last fall. We had an early frost that took the top end, especially off the soybeans. It was kind of a weird frost. We didn't wind up with a lot of green beans. The beans that were in the pods developing, they did finish, but they just didn't get very big. The line for the frost was actually kind of halfway across my farm. So I had some beans on the southern end of the farm that didn't get the frost damage as bad, and some beans of the same variety 15 miles to the northwest that got hit with the frost more. And the beans were the same color, they just weren't the same size. According to the quality reports out of North Dakota, it didn't affect the protein or the amino acid levels in any great way. There weren't as many beans as we were hoping. But as the prices came up, we were able to market them more profitably, and we did pretty well. It wound up being a good year on the financial side, even though it was only slightly above average as far as yield goes. This spring, we had a bit of a fairly dry winter, not a lot of snowpack, reasonably early spring. So we got into the fields early. Field conditions were great. It looked really nice, and then it just hasn't rained very much since then. Our crop in this corner of the state still looks pretty good, but like most of the state, we're short about 5 inches of rain since planting versus what we would normally get. And normal total rainfall for the year around here is something around 20 inches. So in the last 3 months, we're short 25% of our annual rainfall. We came into it with really good soil moisture and really nice soil. So like I said, our crop still looks nice, but that's not the case in most of the state. A lot of the state was drier than we were going into last fall, and they also didn't get much snow. And so a lot of the rest of the state looks tough. I think guys have a little bit more hope for some of their soybeans. As long as soybeans are alive and in decent health, when August comes around, August is the time of year when soybeans are made. That's when they're filling the pods. And even a small soybean plant, if it gets rain and good conditions through August, can put on a lot of beans. I wouldn't expect a good soybean yield out of North Dakota, but if we get the right August, it could be okay. We won't know for another 6 weeks or so. But I know some of the fields are, they don't have the potential anymore to do very well. I'm hoping for a slightly above average crop, but the potential for a bin buster is not there anymore. As far as marketing our new beans, we've got slightly less than half of them sold, maybe 3 weeks or a month ago, when the prices were a bit higher than they are now. Based on yield, we'll find out if that was less than half or over half, but hopefully it's a little less than half. But with the weather the way it is, I'm personally feeling bullish on corn prices and soybean prices. I think that despite the recent rains through southern Minnesota and northern Iowa, they're still a long ways from having the crop made. And when the soil moisture is depleted like that and the crops are already stressed from moisture, you get one rain and that's good for a week. And then you're right back where you were. And if it doesn't rain again, by the end of that week, the crop's going backwards again. As the prices started to come up last fall, we thought, okay, if this trend continues, fertilizer prices and all of our other input prices are going to go up pretty quickly. And so we forward contracted as much as we could. Basically, we bought all our inputs back in November and December. And as the prices kept going up, the fertilizer prices kept going up. I had to buy a few tons of fertilizer at market price this spring, and I believe for phosphate the price was up 40% versus last fall. And that's a huge change. For this fall, for buying inputs for next year, it'll get very interesting. If everything depends on what crop prices are. If prices stay where they are, farmers can afford the input prices where they are. But if the prices go back down to where they were a year ago and input prices stay where they are now, it doesn't pencil. It doesn't work out very well for us.